Hey y'all, welcome back. So in this one, I want to start making a little bit more use of AI. I use AI to help me write the scripts that I do for these, and then I try to basically replicate them on another screen so that we can go through the actual code of it together. But in this one, what I want to start doing is we have a bunch of linting fixes, right? If you watch that video, so if we type make lint here, then we see there are 29 errors here and they're all just missing doc strings. So instead of actually going through every single function and writing a doc string, I want to take advantage of AI to do that. And specifically, we can take advantage of the use of AI instructions. So we can actually provide a markdown file to be able to give it instructions on how we want the doc string to actually look so that it doesn't just decide for us what it wants. Previously, what I did when I first started using Copilot at work was it would just give you that chat box in the corner, right? And I would basically just write out what I wanted it to do, and then it would just do it in the code base, which is cool. That's great. The disadvantages of that are the AI kind of decides how it thinks that you're going to want to see that, and it is the big thing I see is it's not consistent if you're working on a large team. No two people are going to prompt the system in the same way, and you're not going to get the same results from AI. It's going to be different every single time, at least to my understanding of AI. So using instructions file here is a good way to stick it in the repository that you're actually working in. That way other developers can actually pull that same file and they can use that same instructions file to say alright, we'll format all the doc strings and could format this way. So that's really handy to have in my opinion. They have instructions here. You're going to make a .github folder in every case here. And the first way that they offer is just the simplest version of just having a single instructions file, and that's good. I feel like what we want to do is we want to define a .instructions.md file. And that way we can have one file that can be docstrings.instructions.md, and we can have another file naming schemes.instructions.md, etc. That way we can apply the different instructions based on the different types of activities that we're looking for it to do. So if you look here, it's got examples of how you would actually do it. So it has a keyword in it in a YAML format. So you're saying what you're actually applying it to, the actual files that you're using, and then you're just all these markdown files are just its natural language. So you're just telling it in plain English, this is what I want. So you see it has a few more examples on here of what you want. You can include the grammar that you want, the actual tense of the verbs and all of that, which is really useful. We just add that to the context and just set it loose. So let's get going. Alright, so now let's define the actual files that we need. So what we're going to do according to the documentation is we're going to create a .github folder. That's usually read by GitHub, but we can the chat is able to use that to be able to see what it wants for instructions. So because we're doing a per file thing, we want a .github folder, and then within that we need an instructions folder, which is also in the documentation. So now we're going to make the actual file. So we're going to call it docstrings, and then it has to be this format to be recognized, .instructions.md. Now I have a file on my clipboard, so I'll copy and paste. I'll paste that. Okay, so we have these separators here. Separate what's called the front matter, so that just gives people who are looking at this file a little bit more of a description of what they're actually looking at. So just a short description, and then what it applies to. This is required to have in here. The description is optional, but you have to have the apply to. So then we just have the docstring instructions here. This single hashtag is just a header here. And then we just are saying we want the docstrings to apply to all functions, class, modules. And then we want these guidelines, which basically I just copy and paste these from the linter. So it'll actually go through these instructions and use this to actually format the docstrings. I also put in a little example down here because treat this thing like a little intern. You want to give them little examples so they can see like, oh, this is what you actually want. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now the way that this is going to work is in the chat window up here. Look at this little gear icon for configure chat. Then it has instructions here. So let's go ahead and add the docstrings to our workspace. And then say, please format the missing docstrings for all functions. And let's see what it does. I'll be honest, I went and got some food for 5 minutes and let this thing just run. So let's see. So it's using Claude Sonnet 4. I honestly just use the default since I don't really see that much of difference, at least at this point. I'm very AI naive though, I guess. So it read our instructions file that we have. So it just searched for all the files that it applies to, found all of them, and then it created some tasks, and then it looks like it just went through all the files, made the doc strings. So then it gives a summary of what it did at the end. And it basically kind of repeats what we had in the instructions file, which is good. We want that so that it tells us like the exact rules that it followed and it helps us know. It says it now passes linting. Let me check again. So if we do make lint, okay, so didn't exactly do that. Let's see if we can ask it to make sure that the linting rules pass by running make lint. Okay, so it'll prompt us to actually run the command. I'm going to enable auto approves, see what that can do. Yes, enable, that's fine. And then click allow. Oh, okay, so apparently I still have to, it still prompts me and I have to click always allow. Okay, so it ran the linter again, as we can see in here. And it said all checks passed, so everything passed, so it said it was fine. Let's see what it did. It basically added in some lines which were part of our linter, and it added a bunch of stuff to the test function, and it added a docstring up in constants, which is fine, I guess. So, alright, awesome. Now, obviously, it's going to be a really good idea to actually review what was done, so let's just take a quick look. So you see, like, my my docstring before of get from database that actually puts something else in, which is really nice. So, if you haven't seen AI before, you can choose to accept or not. I'm probably not going to run through all of these just because it's a lot. But let's just look at something that has an actual parameter on it to see how that looks. Okay. Yeah, it has the args like this, which is, oh wow. That's actually better than I would have wanted. I would have just said tuple, but it defines like what the actual tuple is. Yeah, anyway, these do look pretty good, so I'll probably just accept everything. So, alright, so that seems to be it. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.